Hey everybody, welcome to the Down the Road Travel Channel. My name is Will Van Winkle. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I am looking at different places to go around Tennessee. A lot of places to get back to nature in the Nashville area. And today I'm at Montgomery Bell State Park. They have hiking, camping, fishing, boating, no gasoline motors, electric or paddles only. There's a golf course here. Lodge, cabins, group camping, tennis courts, basketball courts. Saw a baseball or softball field, and RV camping, cabins, tent camping. They have meeting rooms. They have lodges, event centers, all kinds of things. Right now we're checking out one of the lakes. Right here would be the boat launch. Gives you size requirement for fishing. You do need a fishing license. No camping, swimming, or campfires over here. Get down towards the water here. Very quiet over here. Now this boat launch closes at dark, which means I gotta leave soon because the sun is going down. Just want to take a walk around some of the areas of the lake where you can walk. Well, Canadian geese, you see them all over this area of Tennessee. They are kind of jerks. They bite, they'll chase you, so stay away from them. Something else that I stumbled upon here. There's an archery range here. Rules up here. Let's see what it says. During daylight hours only. So that's another thing that's about to close. No alcohol. Makes sense, you know, if you're shooting arrows, you probably don't want to be drunk. It doesn't say anything about reserving the archery range. Apparently it's just first come, first served. Just come on in and grab your bow and arrow and start shooting at things. As long as there's nobody on the range, you're fine. If this is the kind of thing that you're into, Montgomery Bell also has a golf course. That'd be the sand trap over there. I don't know if you can see it. Hearing red-tailed hawk above me. Just saw a bunch of deer back that way. This little maybe 3-foot high fence doesn't probably keep many deer out, which means there's probably deer pellets in the morning all throughout the golf course. So you might not want to be the first one on that golf course. We're at the restaurant and lodge over at Montgomery Bell. Doesn't look like it's open, but there's a few cars out here, so maybe it is, and it's just a little early, or maybe it's just the wrong time of year. That's the lodge. So it seems like the basketball area was kind of an afterthought. That's my truck right there, and you'll see there's a basketball goal right there behind me. So the parking lot is the basketball area. There's also a couple of picnic benches over here. I guess if you're playing a pickup game, you got a place to wait, maybe grill out a little bit. But those goals, like I said, they're just kind of placed in what looks like it was a parking area. In fact, you can still see barely the lines on the road. Cars are going to get hit, cars are going to get in the way. So it just seems like it was an afterthought. Now, I also saw playgrounds, sand volleyball courts, tennis court back over by the lodge. The basketball court here is in between the golf course and the lodge as well. There's plenty of stuff here to do if you want to be outdoors. Very peaceful and serene. The wooded area, well maintained. There's some wildlife around here. I've seen deer. I've heard red-tailed hawks and other birds. And I think I saw a raccoon, but I'm not 100% sure. It would make sense, there are raccoons in the area, and they do have the trash cans to deter raccoons here, so I would imagine there are some as well. And before I forget, everybody's favorite, and probably in my opinion the most dangerous animal, the skunk. Watch out. Been driving around here for a couple minutes and I've noticed two different cemeteries. Coming from Texas, I've never seen cemeteries in state parks. But when I went up to Mammoth Cave a couple months ago, I saw a couple of cemeteries there. And now driving through Montgomery Bell, seeing cemeteries here. This one's a little better maintained than the one up in Mammoth Cave. See, this one's 1880, 1884, 1895. It's a little odd to me to be hiking or walking through a state park and run into a cemetery. But apparently that's just how they do it up in this area. 1874, 71. And you have these that are, looks like they were gravestones, but not very well maintained. Weather's gotten to them, years have gotten to them. So fairly common thing up in this area, I guess. Up near the visitor center itself, there is a small exhibit with birds of prey, some wildlife growing areas for bees, and they even had some beehives, some wooden beehives built for conservation of the bees as well. So there's a lot going on here, a lot to do if you're the outdoors type. Like I said earlier, there is golf, there is swimming. Fairly close to the entrance of the park. It's a pretty easy path here. Some of the areas look to be a little bit more difficult. It's a nice little creek, but you can hear in the background, because I don't have my microphones with me, you should be able to hear in the background that I'm very close to the highway, Highway 70. That's not the most peaceful thing, but it's a nice little area, probably about hour and a half out of Nashville. Short Springs Natural Area, located in Tullahoma, Tennessee, is also about an hour to an hour and a half out of Nashville. It's a 420-acre natural area in Coffee County, Tennessee. Nowhere near as nice as Montgomery Bell, but it is a nice network of trails with several waterfalls in the area. It's just past Rutledge Falls, where many locals go to picnic and swim. Several problems with Short Springs exist. There is limited parking, and the sign even shows that if the parking area is full, you should visit another time. Which means if you drove to the area as we did, you may have to leave because they don't allow parking on the street. From the parking area, the path is not well marked, so you may end up wandering into what appears to have been at one time a homeless camp, which is what we did. We went off to the right where there looks like there was a trail right there. It actually didn't lead anywhere. Went a little ways back. You see a lot of trash. I think I saw some syringes, so there was some stuff going on there that shouldn't have been. There is nobody there now, and it does seem fairly safe, but they didn't do a good job of really cleaning that up when they had people to move on. Or maybe they moved on their own and just left their trash there and no one ever went out to investigate. Speaking of trash, as you get into the trails themselves, which are actually across the street from the parking area, they don't have trash cans. They don't even have porta potties. They have nothing like that at all. It is really just a natural area. They put up a trash bag. Somebody put up a trash bag at the fork in some of the trails for people to throw things away. It's just overflowing with trash. No one ever goes out there to check on anything. The bridge that led over one of the fall area was in need of some maintenance. There were a couple of steps missing, and the bridge itself seemed a little weak in a couple of spots. And then once you got across that, the trail got extremely difficult. It's like they put in steps, but the way they did the steps, it's still in the dirt. So basically what they did was they took the dirt path, they put in a couple of wooden blocks to help you get your footing, and then there's nothing else there. So this really is just a natural area. It's a good place to go for a hike, look at nature. So there's not a lot to do there other than walk the trails, look at the wildflowers in the spring. Apparently it is voted one of the best wildflower areas in the state. So if that's something that you're into, spring is probably going to be your best time to go. If you just want to get a little bit of exercise, any time of year is great. So in Hendersonville, Tennessee, about 30 minutes out of downtown Nashville, there is a small nature preserve arboretum area that you go walking around in. There's not a whole lot going on here, but it's a nice quiet area, kind of tucked away. Not a lot of people know about it. It is pet friendly, even if your pet is not the most friendly. Now there's not a lot to do here, but maybe do some walking. There's some trails, there's some paved areas. People go fishing around here. You can boat. I believe it's non-motorized to put in here because there is no boat ramp. And just on the other side, so this is off of Walton's Ferry Road in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Just on the other side of the peninsula on Sanders Ferry Road, they are building a natural hiking trail with wooden bridges that go over the water in some spots as well. We're heading down here towards the water. Not that long of a hike, but it's enough to get out of the house for a little bit, depending on where you're at. There's a campground not too far from here, Cage's Bend. Technically it's in Gallatin, but it's right there on the border. There's been a lot of heavy storms to the Nashville area, a lot of downed trees, had a few at my house as well. So while you're walking, you might want to keep your eye up in the trees as well. Make sure you're not going to have anything fall on you. Behind me we have Old Hickory Lake. You can go boating, fishing, swimming. There are free ramps all throughout here. If you go up to Old Hickory Dam, I believe that's the easiest place to put your boat in the water. Now I don't give this a very high rating, just because there's not a whole lot of infrastructure. There's nothing to do here other than just walk around and maybe take some pictures and do a video like I'm doing, or let your dog pull you through the forest like this guy. Don't get me wrong, I like the natural aspect of everything. I just like a little bit of material to look at, you know. Maybe tells you a little bit about the area when it became public use land. But overall, this is not a bad place if you're just trying to get out and get a little bit of exercise and don't want to just walk through your neighborhood. It's a little bit nicer. You see more stuff. Last time I hiked these trails, it was during COVID when everything was shut down. Those benches were in much better shape. They kind of let them go. Just kind of goes to show how little development and little money is put into this area, honestly. And even though it was not supposed to rain until later this evening, I even looked at my weather app on my phone before I set out here. It's starting to rain. So, kind of a short hike. It's not a very long path anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Then I'm cutting it a little bit short, but I'm headed back to the truck. Now, these three parks are just a small sampling of what Nashville has to offer as far as nature areas. There are many more I can think of. Long Hunter State Park over in Mount Juliet, Cedars of Lebanon in Lebanon, Tennessee, Burgess Falls, which I think is like just outside of the Cookeville area. There's so many natural spots. Nashville has so much more to offer than just bars and live music. So make sure you get out there and explore a little bit. Check it out. If you like the original music that I've used in the background, you can check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you stream music, or right here on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe to our channel, and leave me a comment if you have any, if I missed your favorite park. And maybe it's just one that I'm not aware of yet. But thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all down the road.
Let's hit the road.